tying it back into my background is I originally, like you, I went to a few different colleges, community colleges, just going kind of the business route potentially, because my whole family is more on the business side of things. They all had some creative talent, but none of them took that career path. And I wanted to be the one to kind of change that and say, well, I don't want to just do hard labor or do construction. I want to take this creative talent that we seem to have in our bloodline and actually do something with it. Um, so I was failing out of community college, couldn't just attach to anything, and then just took the leap and went to Academy of Art in San Francisco and picked graphic design out of a catalog because it seemed like the one field that kind of covered everything and felt like kind of the one that has the most opportunity to get a job and to work on some things. So I took that, went through that program, did some terrible design jobs after that where I'm just, working on email banners and trying to squeeze a bunch of information into a little box that goes on a web page.
We've all done that.
Yeah, hated that stuff. And then took on some presentation work through my freelance roles. Again, through Craigslist, just like you. Like Craigslist was a gold mine back in the days. So that's where I found my mentor who gave me a lot of work. And I remember the first presentation. It might not have been the first one, but it was one of the ones where I really had to kind of dig into it. It was for Riverbed, and they had an infographic that was like a long form infographic with tons of content into it. And I don't remember why, but for some reason they gave us that, and they're like, okay, we need this in a presentation. So I'm like, okay. And I just broke it up and put it in across slides, delivered it, and they said, oh, well, can we have it in one slide? So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, how do I squeeze that in? And then just taking everything I learned in design and typography and really taking a more kind of refined approach to spacing and tracking and fitting all this content into one slide just showed me, okay, well, PowerPoint it's a design program. I can design just the same as anywhere else. And that's where I was forced to. And that's where I just got comfortable in it. And from there, I ended up getting the role at Duarte. And that's where my mind opened up to everything, because they have just a whole building full of people who only do presentation design. And before then, I didn't know that existed. So I just learned a ton there, bouncing ideas off of everyone. And that's where I learned kind of the idea of how do we break PowerPoint, because it's supposed to be a program where a lot of designers don't really take a liking to it. They don't see it at the same level as Adobe and all of those design tools, which makes sense. So coming as that design background, how do we break a tool that necessarily isn't meant for us? It's meant for the wider audience. But how do we break it to do what we want it to do for our kind of higher creative needs to make things look really polished? And that's where I really dove deep into the program, figured out what it can and can't do, figured out what it can do, but it doesn't even know it can do it. It doesn't tell you what it can do, or the different, menu items you can mix together and how to build different animations differently. So all that really just stroked my whole creative mind on the possibilities, the art of the possible with just presentation programs in general. And then fast forward to now, like touching on all the other points you mentioned on just the business side of it, like not being tied to one specific practice or field or just supporting the creative team, actually supporting just a wide gamut of stakeholders and users and teams and organizations and companies. It's really endless. And that's just what excited me about it today. And yeah, we can just go on and on about that. But yeah, I really like how you touched on your business background and your design management. And that just makes being a presentation designer, you just become so much stronger for it because of all the people you have to interact with and manage day to day.